Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. We're in November now, so I feel like we can actually discuss the Ballon d'Or. And I recently saw a short on Instagram. Some other YouTuber footballer was doing a Ballon d'Or tier list. So I was like, yeah, let's do the same right here. So here we have all the players right here. These are like from the nominations of last year, but majority of them should be making, the list for this year as well. And I'm putting them, from the likelihood of winning a, I don't know, very favorite, likely, and then unlikely to win the Ballon d'Or this year. And obviously I will go through reasoning and all of that. Some of the players we would not choose to pick because it don't really matter. Okay, I guess Dembouz is the first one. Ousmane Dembele is a favorite to win the Champions League. Yeah, because despite him being injured at the beginning of the season and missing many games, which means he hasn't been able to contribute and so on, he honestly doesn't matter. Because last season, yes, he was fit. Yes, he played. Yes, he played better. Yes, he had more GA. But he also had a lot of bad performances, especially in the UEFA Champions League. Like, he was doing a lot in Ligue 1 in the beginning of 2024, in the 2024-2025 campaign. But, majority where his stuff came later on. His goal-scoring streak, his hat-tricks and all of that. And all of that is still achievable. But, obviously, the main thing with the upcoming Ballon d'Or is that this is a World Cup year. And Dembele is playing for France, one of the favorites. Obviously, he will not get as much headlights at France as he does at Paris Saint-Germain, with Kylian Mbappe being the main man. But I still think Ousmane Dembele is one of the favorites to win the Ballon d'Or. Obviously, going back-to-back. Basically impossible, man, because think about it. Since, if we remove the Messi-Ronaldo era, who was the last player to go back-to-back? Was it like Van Basten in the 90s, in the 80s? Am I missing someone? It was something like that. So, extremely unlikely in that sense. But Dembouz, I do think he's a favorite because, best player in the world. Plays for Paris Saint-Germain, one of the favorites for the UCL. Plays for France, one of the favorites for the World Cup. Next up is Désiré Doué. I'm going to put him in likely. Désiré Doué, once again, representing the French national team, playing teammates alongside Ousmane Dembele at Paris Saint-Germain. We saw glimpses of Désiré Doué between his two injuries, and he was insane. It was like 5 GA in 3 games. He was cooking. UCL, could have had the UCL hat-trick if Lucho didn't decide to sub him off after 45 minutes versus Leverkusen. And I think Désiré Doué at the World Cup, because he should be a starter. He should be a starter ahead of Bradley Barcola on that left side. Next up, I don't really care about most of these players. And I just don't want this to be PSG players. Let's pick Lewandowski. Big name coming into this. Poland, I actually think they have a qualifier versus Netherlands coming up. If they beat Netherlands, they go straight to the World Cup. If they don't beat Netherlands, then they have to qualify. So you got Leva for Poland trying to do something. With Barca, obviously Leva's coming back now. Scored a hat-trick in his last game. The thing is, if Barca win the UCL, Leva's not going to get majority of the prop. It's that simple. And Poland's not going to do anything in the World Cup. So that's my reasoning for putting Lewandowski there. Let's leave down Harry Kane a little bit. Let's take Khvicha. Georgia failed to make the World Cup. And again, if Paris Saint-Germain, he can still get the most PR with Paris Saint-Germain if we win the Champions League, if he's really great, even better than last season. But again, issue is he's going to become completely irrelevant at the World Cup. So I'm going to put him in unlikely as well. Cole Palmer. Obviously, honestly, Cole Palmer PR last season surprised me a lot. Finishing 9th in the Ballon d'Or, making the FIFA Pro 11, getting he got a great number of votes, like 20%. So he has a lot of PR. Chelsea, obviously, you don't know what they will do in the Champions League. They're a little bit of a unpredictable team in the Champions League. We haven't seen them there in a while. And they've been a bit in the Premier League. But obviously with England, he has the most PR in that team alongside Jude Bellingham. So let's say England win the World Cup. Palmer, is he going to be seen as a star boy? He was obviously not starting in the Euros, but I definitely think Palmer should be a starter with his quality. If he's fit, I think he's been having pubalgia issues, just like Lamine Yamal so far this season. But I'm actually going to raise it up to likely. I think Cole Palmer is a likely candidate to potentially win the Ballon d'Or. Chelsea can do something in the Champions League. He will get that Premier League PR as usual. And if England win the World Cup, I mean, it's between him, Saka, and Declan Rice. I think and Bellingham, those are the four England players with the most PR. You got Phil Foden as well. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like that. Who do we take now? We'll take Mohamed Salah. Obviously, Egypt have made the World Cup, but he's been absolutely stinky so far this season. Liverpool could change. The thing with Liverpool, I think in the Premier League, they still have a chance. You know, just 11, 12 games have gone by in the Premier League. And Liverpool can be very cheeky side in Champions League. I don't think they will win the Premier League. They still could. But the Champions League, you know, especially for a team that maybe peaks at the later end of the season, and they have a lot of great individual moments, players like Salah, Isak, Verts, Ekitike. If these players can just, they can basically overachieve with Liverpool, and despite them performing mid or something. So I'm going to put Salah at Finished what, 5th last year? But not likely. A lot of it has to do because it's a World Cup year. I just don't see it. Let's take Kane now. Kane definitely a favorite. You got England. You got Bayern. Favorite in the one of the favorites in the UCL. One of the favorites in the World Cup. And at the moment, Harry Kane is my number one Ballon d'Or contender at the moment. I think he's number one, ahead of Erling Braut Haaland and ahead of Kylian Mbappe. So... yeah. Oh, I just noticed there is no Haaland here. Marmoush will have to become Haaland. This is Haaland, people. Hopefully you're listening with audio. I'm going to put Haaland as a likely because he has the World Cup with Norway. And the thing is, yes, he's not going to win the World Cup with Norway. But a bit like we saw, you know, with the Moroccan national team making a deep run into the semis, I could see Norway having an underdog story, maybe going into the quarters. And that will give Haaland a lot of PR because it's only him and Ødegaard, maybe Sørloth and Nusa will take some of the PR as well. But a lot of it, if Norway goes somewhere, it will be prop to Haaland. And City, you know, they've been improving so far this season since the Club World Cup, since last season. Could maybe win the Premier League, could maybe be interesting in the UEFA Champions League, and if City do anything, it's all down to Erling Braut Haaland, especially offensively. So I think he's very likely. Is he a favorite? Again, it's the World Cup. For me, maybe I'm overthinking about the World Cup. Kane and Dembele, two basically main men. Oh, I forgot about Kane when I mentioned the PR for England. But yeah, this is Haaland, likely. I'm going to put him there. Let's take Valverde. Unlikely. Yeah, let's just do some quick ones here. Hakan, unlikely. Barcola, unlikely. You know what? Let's do a new category. Irrelevant. Put Khvicha Leva there. Bastoni, irrelevant. Bellingham. Again, England with the World Cup. You got Madrid, PR. I'm going to put him here with Salah. Yeah, because he has that Madrid-England PR combo. This thing, Bellingham doesn't even have to perform that well. He just has insane amount of PR and is playing for England, World Cup one of the World Cup favorites. I wouldn't call Madrid one of the Champions League favorites, but as they say, it's Real Madrid. Caicedo, Ecuador, definitely my dark horse at the World Cup. Again, Chelsea could do something interesting, and Caicedo has been building up a lot of good PR recently, but not going to win a Ballon d'Or. Courtois. Again, I'm putting like good players in, unlikely in here. Mid players, I guess. Kubarsi, what? Kukurea. Dona obviously finished 8th, 10th, 7th, something really high in the Ballon d'Or last year. And he's been very good with City so far. Italy, I think Italy got to go through like 2 playoff teams facing off each other to make the World Cup. But if they make it, you know, we saw Dona win Player of the Tournament at the Euros. He has good PR for being a goalkeeper. I'm gonna put him in A. Playing for City. And the thing with Italy, it's not they're gonna win the World Cup or something. It's just that Dona is their main man for being the goalkeeper. If Italy go to the quarters, it's because Dona's been saving them that way. Dumfries, irrelevant. Actually, I mean, he came into the Ballon d'Or list, one of the only defenders last year. Obviously, a lot of that had to do with that Barca tie. I think he had 5 assists. No, 5 GA in the UCL last season. Or 6 GA. Like 5 of them came versus Barca. Netherlands are a cheeky shout in the World Cup. And Inter are decent in the Champions League. But I'm going to put him irrelevant. Marmoush. What am I saying? Ikitike. Unlikely. Still got Liverpool with the French national team. I don't see him starting though. Fabian Redondo Ruiz, robbed of player of the tournament in the Euros. Unfortunately, should have had 2 PSG players in a row. Even though Dona wasn't a PSG player when he won it. Fabian Ruiz, I mean his PR is horrendous. He's not gonna win anything. Gravenberg here, Bruno here, Gorasi, Gyökeres. I mean if Sweden make the World Cup, he's with Arsenal. If Arsenal do something big, but other players are going to take the PR off him. Ashraf Hakimi. Now we have another strong candidate. Morocco. Obviously, we have AFCON now, which will give us a glimpse of how good Morocco are going into the World Cup. And they look very strong going into the World Cup. And Hakimi, obviously, Paris Saint-Germain player, finished 6th in the Ballon d'Or last season. And he's the main man with Morocco. So if Morocco do something big, he's gonna get majority of the PR. Paris Saint-Germain, he gets a lot of PR there. And this injury, thank God, isn't that bad. I'm even thinking favorite, but I'm gonna put him in likely. Inigo Martinez, Isak. I'm gonna put him in unlikely. Liverpool, Sweden, Joshua Kimmich. Unlikely. Kunde. Irrelevant. Lautaro. Ooh, Lautaro is a cheeky one World Cup wise. I mean, Inter could win Serie A this season. They've won all of their games in the UCL, so we'll have to wait and see to see how good they are because they haven't faced a tough team yet in the UCL to see how good they are. But I do remember Lautaro. I believe he was player of the tournament and top goal scorer in the recent Copa America that Argentina lifted. So if Argentina is going to do something big, Lautaro, I think it's going to be huge for them. Him and Alvarez up top. You know, I'm going to put him in A. He has some minor chances. Marquinhos. Yeah. Kylian Mbappe. I think he's a favorite. Obviously, he's been pissing out in the big games versus Liverpool and so on. But Mbappe has a Madrid PR and is with France and is the main man with France. Yeah, and has, you know, a lot of PR apart from that. But Mbappe is definitely a favorite, no questions about it. McTominay, irrelevant. Musiala, he's basically the star man for Germany. He's going to come back for Bayern. It's going to be interesting to see how his impact is going to be. Is he going to be more impactful than Diaz, Ulisse? I don't think Kane. I'm going to put Musiala in A. Yeah, I definitely think he has somewhat of a fair chance to potentially win it. Pedro Neto, João Neves. No, too early. Nuno Mendes. I mean, can I say favorite? Yeah, I must say favorite. Because Nuno Mendes, first of all, I think he's the main man of Portugal. We saw that with him winning Nations League knockouts, player of the tournament. We saw that when he won Nations League final, player of the final. If Portugal win the World Cup, Nuno Mendes wins the Ballon d'Or. And then he's with Paris Saint-Germain as well, which have really strong chances of winning the Champions League once again. He's not obviously now injured, just a small injury. But the form he was in, it was Ballon d'Or form. So I'm going to put Nuno Mendes as a favorite. Next up is Olise. I think he falls right under favorite. I think he's likely. Played with Bayern München. And once again, France in the World Cup. He's been a starter for nearly a year with the French national team. So Olise definitely has strong stocks going into. The only thing with the France is he's going to be behind Mbappe and Dembele in terms of attacking PR. And maybe even Desiree Doué. And don't think about the ranking too much. That's a little bit irrelevant. Willian Pacho. Sorry, Pacho. Pedri. Ooh. Pedri finished 11th in the Ballon d'Or last year, or 12th. He's third in PR at Barca behind Yamal and Rafinha, if all cook, and second in Spain behind Lamine Yamal. I'm gonna put Pedri in likely. Pedri's definitely likely to potentially win it. Rafinha. No, I was gonna check if there's some Copa America about. I'm extremely certain. My bad. I don't know, man. I just woke up, I guess. Rafinha. Because what we saw is Yamal's going to always eat off more PR at Barca. It is what it is, even if Rafinha is better. So then he goes to the Brazilian national team. And is Rafinha going to be the main man? I don't know, man. The Brazil team, you don't know anything about it. If Rafinha is the main man of Brazil, yeah. If it's Vini, then likely. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. And I definitely think Rafinha will have sympathy voters from this year going on to next year. Just a bit like Vini had it. Because he didn't deserve to finish 15th in where he finished. Oh, I don't know about Rafinha, man. It's a tough one. I'm going to put him very high, likely. I'm going to put him first in likely. By the way, for the people that don't know, this Marmouche represents Haaland. As for some reason, he was 9th this tier list. David Raya, irrelevant. Douglas Rice. Again, we got to be honest. He has the PR with Arsenal. He has the PR with England. If England win the World Cup, I think Rice is one of the candidates. But I'm going to put him unlikely. Bukayo Saka. Honestly, I think Rice deserves it more than Saka. That's just how mid Saka is. But Saka has more PR. You got to know how the game works. Saliba, irrelevant. Sommer, irrelevant. Van Dijk, irrelevant. I mean, if Netherlands win the World Cup and with him as a captain, I guess that's the thing. World Cup, you got to look into it. It's too big. We've got Vitinha, Yamal, and Wirtz left. Wirtz, I'm gonna put, if he can revive his career, a lot of people will talk about that. If he can revive his season, a lot of people will talk about that. You know, one of the stars for Liverpool, second star behind Musiala for the German national team. Germany do something, Liverpool do something. I think Wirtz is there. And yeah, put both of these up here. I think both Vitinha and Lamine Yamal are favorites, finishing second in the Ballon d'Or this year, finishing third in the Ballon d'Or this year. Most PR for Spain, most PR for Barca, most, maybe second most PR. With Dembele being injured, Vitinha, I mean, he's having a Ballon d'Or even 10 GA as a deep playing midfielder is absolutely nuts. But Vitinha has a strong case. And yeah, that basically finishes it off. And as you can see, the nations we have here, just for the World Cup, you got Spain, you got Portugal, you got France, you got England, which are my 4 favorites going into the World Cup. I don't have Argentina as one of them, I believe. Yeah, that finishes it off. I don't think I have to change that much. We'll definitely make more Ballon d'Or tier list updates later on, but this is what I've come up with. You guys let me know in the comments down below who else should be a favorite, and if any of these favorites should not be a favorite. That's been it from boy PSGINT. Hopefully guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez Paris.